When I started training for the 2020 Lagos City Marathon, I would go running, and sometime during my run, I would start feeling this very intense pain around my tummy. Eventually, I discovered what the problem was. I was not eating enough. You know, preparing for the 2020 Lagos City Marathon taught me a very important lesson, the importance of proper nutrition for your body so that your body can have the strength and energy to achieve those goals that we want to achieve. And it's just so important, it's just so vital that we feed our bodies, that we take care of our bodies. Because here is the thing, just like an astronaut needs a space suit to fulfill and accomplish his mission in space, we need special earth suits called bodies to fulfill and accomplish our mission here on earth. No matter how wonderful our idea is, no matter how grand and valid our dreams, hopes and aspirations are, without a healthy, strong, proper functioning body, we can't achieve those things that we want to achieve. So that's why it's so important that we feed well, we take care of our bodies. Now, when it relates to feeding our bodies, I've discovered that it's not just only important to feed our bodies, we also need to feed our minds and our spirits as well. Because a wise man once said that a healthy spirit conquers adversity. But what can you do when a person's spirit is crushed? He also goes on to say that a cheerful disposition is good for your health. Gloom and doom leaves you bone tired. What this simply tells us is that there is no amount of proper nutrition, there is no amount of feeding well, of eating well, that can help the body of an individual whose spirit is crushed. Because what happens is that that crushed spirit leaves that person bone tired. So it's very important that we do not just feed our bodies, but we feed our minds, we feed our spirits. We make sure that we are doing everything we can to make sure that our minds and our spirits are healthy and strong, because it is the mind and the spirit that actually carries the body. If the mind and spirit is not healthy and not strong, the body cannot be healthy and strong, no matter the great and wonderful diet and wonderful nutrition that that body is receiving. And so that's why it's just so important that we maintain a healthy and strong mind and spirit. Now note, I said healthy and strong. I didn't say perfect and flawless. The goal is not to have a fashion magazine looking body or to have a heavenly and stainless mind. The goal is to have a mind, spirit and body that is healthy and strong. Occasionally there are going to be those unhealthy thoughts. There's going to be fear, anxiety, worry that once in a while come up in our minds. But the goal is that the way that they come is the way that we see to it that they go. As those unhealthy thoughts come up, we make sure that we do all that we can to focus on the thoughts that are healthy. We do not stay fixated on them. Or like Hagen of blessed memory will say, just because a bird flies over your head doesn't mean that you allow it to perch on it and then even build a nest on it. So as much as possible, what we do is that as those thoughts come, we see to it that they go, we see to it that we focus on things that are healthy, we focus on things that are productive. And this is a way that we maintain a healthy mind, healthy spirit, so that our body can also stay healthy and strong. When it comes to feeding our minds, our bodies and our spirit, there are two practical things that I found that I believe that can help. Number one thing is that I've discovered that it's not about the fact that we don't feed our minds, we don't feed our spirits and we don't feed our bodies. I've discovered that the main issue is that we are not deliberate about what we feed our mind, spirit and body. We are just so laissez-faire, we are so casual. We have that mentality of that we are going to wing it, we are going to improvise, we are just going to instinctively know what to do to just feed our minds, bodies and spirits. We are just moving, taking life as it goes. Anything that we just come across, we put into our bodies. Anything that comes our way, we just let into our minds and our spirits. We are not deliberate. It is about that being deliberate and about that intentionality. That what I'm advocating is that we have a system, we have a plan. it's not necessarily about the 1001 diet tricks or 1001 forms of organic food, healthy food. It's about that, look, let's be deliberate and intentional about what we let into our bodies, what we let into our minds, what we let into our spirits. Let's have a plan. Let's plan ahead what we are going to feed our bodies. Let's plan ahead the kind of information we are going to let into our minds and our spirits. What I see these days is that we are so casual. We just plop on the couch in front of the TV. We are just with our phone, and everything that is just appearing on the TV and that is just appearing on our phone as a notification or appearing on our timeline, we are just allowing those things to go full into our system. For me, I believe that that's not healthy, and that's actually feeding your system, but that's an unhealthy way to feed. What I'm simply saying is that let's have a plan. Let's plan the information ahead. The books you are going to read, plan what you are going to watch, plan what you are going to listen to, because that is what is feeding your mind, that is what is feeding your spirit. Plan what is you are going to eat, that is what is feeding your body. I believe that that will make a world of difference before you start getting to all the diet techniques, all the diet tricks and all that. First of all, be intentional, be aware, be deliberate, have a plan and have a system of what you are actually going to feed into your system. The number two thing that I found out that is very practical and helpful when it comes to feeding our minds, spirits and bodies is that too much of everything or anything, even a good thing, can be counterproductive. So what I believe that we need to do is that we need to watch our consumption creation ratio. As much as that we are committed to feeding our bodies, feeding our minds and feeding our spirits, let us make sure that we are using our system, using our bodies, our minds and our spirits in those activities that will actually take our lives to a whole new level. We're actually involving our system in those activities that will actually move the needle of our lives, and not just feeding and feeding and feeding and feeding, and then at the end of the day we're not doing anything with those things that we're receiving into our system. Because here's the thing, just like how not feeding enough can lead to malnutrition, overfeeding may lead to obesity. And we're not just talking about our bodies here, we're talking about our minds, where some of us are so loaded with information, so loaded with inspiration, so loaded with instructions, but we are not using that information, we're not using that inspiration, we're not using that instruction to really advance our lives. We are just taking in and taking in and taking in. And here's the thing, it's the Dead Sea, from what I've heard, it's only the Dead Sea that takes in water but doesn't have any outlet for water to go out of it, and that's why it's called dead. So the only way we can truly be living, the only way we can truly maximize our potential, the only way we can truly be world-class and be those high performers that God has created us to be, is that as we take in, we see to it that we give out. As we take in the necessary nutrition, the necessary food into our bodies, let's see to it that we exercise, we engage our bodies, we engage in those activities that will cause us to stretch and cause us to grow and cause us to be healthier and stronger. That as we take in the inspiration and information into our minds, into our spirits, that we go out there and create something new, create something beneficial, add value to the lives of people out there. That we make sure that we create first before we consume, and that we create even more than we consume, that we give out more than even what we take in. And for me, I believe that that's the way to, to be healthy, that's the way to be strong, to maintain that proper balance, that we look at ourselves and we are surprised to ourselves, and people look at us and we are a surprise to them too. And this was what helped me, to run and to finish the Lagos City Marathon, to develop that healthy and strong body and mind and spirit that I needed to be able to accomplish that goal, because I was careful about what I fed my body. I was careful about what I fed my mind and my spirit, and I made sure that I engaged my body, my mind, and my spirit. I aligned it with doing what God had proposed for me to do, you know, using it to achieve God's plan and purposes for my life. And I believe that that's what it is. I believe that's what it's important, that we feed our minds, we feed our bodies, we feed our spirits. We are intentional and deliberate about what we feed our minds, body, and spirits, and then we make sure that we are using it to accomplish God's plan. We are using it to accomplish God's purpose for our lives. Because here is the thing: while our bodies, our minds, and our spirits are God's gift to us, what we do with them, how we use them, how we take care of them, how we feed them, is our gift back to Him.